If you're reading this, chances are you still hold the keys. The keys to your car, the keys to your home, and the keys to your independence. And there is nothing you value more. We talk a lot about protecting our money as we age. We talk about keeping our home safe. But often, the greatest threat to living exactly the way you want isn't a scammer or a loose rug. It is a tiny, insidious change that we confuse with just getting old. It's the moment you stop telling your doctor the whole truth because you are secretly terrified of the answer. We are entering a phase of life where we prioritize loss aversion. That is a fancy way of saying we are more afraid of losing what we have than we are excited about gaining something new. And the biggest thing we fear losing is our freedom. That freedom is often symbolized by the ability to drive yourself to the market, to the doctor, or just to visit a friend without having to ask for help. When we start noticing small, strange symptoms, a little dizziness when we stand up too fast, a slight blurring in our vision when the lights are low, we have a very specific instinct. We ignore it. We tell ourselves, I'm 68 or 75 or 82. Everyone feels a bit wobbly sometimes. It's just age. We are trying to protect our dignity. We are trying to protect the car keys. We are afraid that if we report the symptom, the doctor will immediately respond with, maybe it's time to stop driving. But the silence, that confusion between age and illness, is the most dangerous risk we take. It is the key to losing everything we are trying to protect. Because that slight wobble, that moment of blurred focus, might not be you getting old. It might be a side effect. It might be a chemical instruction that is undermining your balance and coordination, hiding in a pill you take every single day. If we don't know the difference, we cannot protect ourselves. And if these side effects cause a fall, or if they impair you while driving, the conversation about giving up your independence will move from a quiet worry to a loud emergency. You need to know exactly which common side effects are mistaken for normal aging, because they are the 3 primary causes of dependency for people over 60, and the best time to ask your doctor about them is right now, while you are still confident behind the wheel. Let's start with the immediate threat to your balance and your driver's license. The number 1 side effect we confuse with age is vestibular confusion. Vestibular confusion simply means anything that disrupts your inner ear, your eyes, and your brain from working together to keep you upright and focused. You might call it dizziness. You might call it unsteadiness. It is often most noticeable when you go from sitting to standing quickly, or when you turn your head suddenly to check traffic before changing lanes. Think about a simple routine. You wake up in the morning, maybe you take your blood, pressure medication, or your medication to help you sleep better at night. You walk to the kitchen to make coffee, and right there, between the bed and the counter, you feel that brief, slight sway. That moment where you think, I better grab the door frame. If you're like most of us, you dismiss it. It passed quickly. But the little wobble is not necessarily a sign of getting weaker. It is often a sign of certain medications interfering with the signals that keep you balanced. The tragedy here is that the medication causing the dizziness might be solving one problem, like high blood pressure, while introducing an immediate, greater risk, a fall. A fall, as we know, can change everything overnight. It can lead to the hospital, rehab, and the loss of your home autonomy. This particular type of dizziness is incredibly common with medications designed to relax you. They are designed to slow down your central nervous system, which is great for anxiety or insomnia, but terrible for quick reaction times and balance. We are talking about common medications, used for sleep, some anxiety treatments, certain muscle relaxers, and unfortunately, several over-the-counter nighttime cold medicines. These drugs are particularly insidious because they linger. You take them at 10 p.m., but they are still heavily active in your system at 10 a.m. the next day when you pull the car out of the garage. And here is the critical wisdom. If the dizziness or unsteadiness you feel is truly due to aging, it usually gets worse gradually over months or years. If the dizziness started relatively suddenly or only happens after a specific time of day, say within 12 hours of taking your nightly pill, it is almost certainly the medicine, not the calendar. The key is communication. Do not walk into your doctor's office and say, I feel dizzy. That is too vague. The specific question you must ask, while you still hold those keys is this. Doctor, I am experiencing unsteadiness, especially in the mornings. Could we review my current medication list for anything that causes vestibular or coordination suppression? Asking specifically about suppression or coordination is powerful. It shows you know the threat, and it forces the doctor to look beyond the primary benefit of the drug and examine the dependency it might be creating. It is a simple shift in language that protects your home and your health. If a medication is causing you to confuse its side effects with getting older, it is essentially trying to trick you out of your independence. We have addressed the physical risk to driving imbalance, but that is only one source of confusion. The next side effect that is commonly confused with age-related mental decline is even more subtle, yet it deeply affects your peace of mind, your financial confidence, and your ability to deal clearly with family demands. We must protect our sharpness just as much as we protect our balance. We will cover that crucial second side effect next. The confusion between normal aging and a medication side effect is the biggest hurdle we face in keeping our independence. It is often subtle. It starts with small things that make you hesitate. We talked earlier about severe fatigue and how easy it is to blame a slow metabolism or just being tired. But when the side effect touches your vision or your balance, the danger accelerates quickly, especially if you are still driving or living alone. Let's talk about the second critical side effect many people over 60 dismiss as unavoidable: sudden or increased visual impairment. Imagine driving home just after the sun starts to set. The glare from oncoming headlights seems much worse than it used to be, or maybe the street signs seem just a little harder to resolve, forcing you to squint. We often assume this is just cataracts creeping in or the natural progression of farsightedness, but sometimes it's a direct result of the medication you take every single day. Drugs used to treat depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, or even certain bladder control medications can cause blurring, double vision, or heightened sensitivity to light. This isn't just an annoyance. When you hesitate for a split second because the brake lights ahead look fuzzy, you are risking more than a fender bender. You are risking your freedom. Losing your ability to see clearly while driving means handing over your keys. And once those keys are gone, getting them back is incredibly difficult. It is also crucial to think about what happens when you're home alone. If your vision is subtly compromised, are you reading the label on that prescription bottle correctly? Are you confusing the 25 milligram dose with the 50 milligram dose? Are you sure that bottle of Tylenol isn't expired? Medication errors in your own home often stem from vision problems that go undiscussed. We tolerate slightly blurry vision because we feel complaining about it sounds whiny. But this isn't about being whiny. This is about being precise, being safe, and protecting the life you built. If your optometrist says your eyes are stable, but you notice this blur or glare worsening right after you start a new prescription, that is a direct, urgent question you must ask your primary doctor. Now, let's move to the third side effect that causes dependency faster than almost anything else: the immediate temporary loss of balance when moving. We are talking about orthostatic hypotension. That technical term just means dizziness, lightheadedness, or feeling like the room is swimming when you stand up too fast. This is the sneaky villain hiding in your bathroom. Think about your daily routine. You wake up in the morning and sit up on the side of the bed. You feel that slight head rush, wait a moment, and stand. You walk to the bathroom. You stand up from the toilet. You step out of the shower. Each one of those transition points is a high-risk zone. If you are dealing with frequent or intense head rushes, you're at a significantly higher risk of a serious fall. A fall that results in a hip fracture is often the single fastest trigger for moving out of your home and losing total independence. And here is the hardest part. Many medications that are vital for heart health, like certain beta blockers or diuretics for high blood pressure, are designed to lower your blood pressure. They do their job very well, perhaps too well, when you move quickly from lying down to standing up. You feel the dizziness and immediately think, "I'm just too weak," or My legs are getting slower, or I must be dehydrated. You rarely think, this is the drug doing exactly what it should, but the dosage is now too high for my current body movement. When you hesitate to stand, when you grab the wall, every time you leave the chair, you are already mentally preparing to lose your independence. You are signaling to yourself and others that you need assistance for the most basic actions. But if it is a medication side effect, that dizziness is a technical problem, not a surrender. It is often solved by a simple adjustment, lowering the dose, changing the timing of the dose, or swapping the medication entirely. Your goal right now, before you stop driving or before you suffer a serious fall, is to be a detective about your own body's clock. When does the dizziness hit hardest? Is it an hour after your morning pill? Is it only when you move quickly? Write it down. Take that evidence to your doctor. Do not let these temporary treatable side effects be mistakenly filed away under just getting old. That file is what costs us our freedom. It is empowering to know that many of the health issues we fear most, dizziness, blurred vision, or crippling fatigue, might not be the beginning of the end, but just a note to the pharmacist. Now that we've covered the 3 major health side effects that threaten your mobility and driving freedom, we need to turn our attention to another major area where we often lose control when we age: our homes and our money. Because physical health risks and financial risks often overlap in surprising ways. We're going to discuss the hidden habits that keep you stuck and how protecting your home's peace also protects your wallet. And that starts with the surprising ways clutter costs you money. Now, let's address the third silent threat to your independence, and it is perhaps the hardest one to recognize: the erosion of your quickness. We are not talking about physical speed here. We are talking about reaction time, the speed at which your brain recognizes a sudden change in the traffic ahead, on a cluttered step, or in the tone of a salesperson on the phone. This third dependency threat is cognitive fog, or profound mental sluggishness. When you start a new medication or increase the dosage of an old one, does it feel like your brain is wrapped in gauze? That simple tasks suddenly take 2 extra steps, 2 extra seconds? You might stand in the kitchen, keys in hand, and forget why you walked in there. That happens to everyone sometimes. But if it happens 5 times a day, every day, it might not be just getting older. It might be the drug. This is critical for driving. Driving safely is about prediction and rapid correction. If there is a deer or a child or a quick lane change needed, every fraction of a second matters. If your medicine makes that reaction, time even a half second slower, you have added a huge layer of risk to your life and to the lives of those around you. But the real threat of cognitive side effects is the loss of your decision-making dignity at home. When the mind is foggy, you are vulnerable. You might leave the stove burner on longer than necessary. You might fall for a sophisticated phone scam because you couldn't process the details fast enough to realize it was fake. You might forget to pay a critical bill, not because you lack the money, but because the steps of logging in and confirming felt too complicated that day. We must protect your clarity. Your clarity is your fortress. If you're experiencing mental sluggishness, write down concrete examples for the doctor. Do not just say, "I feel confused." That is too vague and easily dismissed. Instead say, "Doctor, since starting this medication last month, I notice it takes me 15 seconds longer to calculate the change at the grocery store, and yesterday I poured milk into the sugar bowl." Specific examples cannot be ignored. They paint a clear picture of dependency risk. This wisdom of maintaining clarity extends directly into your financial security. Many seniors, independent for decades, suddenly find themselves relying on family for basic bill paying because the medication they take makes their routine money management too exhausting or confusing. This is a dependency you must fight to avoid. Financial independence equals personal dignity. When you can no longer trust your own quick judgment about money, you're relying on others, and that changes the whole dynamic of your home and family relationships. Protecting your nest egg now means protecting your ability to sit down on Sunday afternoon and review your statements without a foggy headache setting in. If your medicine is robbing you of the clarity needed to manage your money wisely, it is creating a financial side effect far worse than the cost of the pills themselves. Think about the 4 areas where cognitive clarity matters most for the independent senior: driving safety, fall prevention, knowing where your feet are, prescription management, taking the right dose at the right time, and financial security, avoiding scams and errors. If the medicine threatens one of those 4, you must raise the issue immediately. You have worked your entire life to ensure you have a comfortable, peaceful home and resources for your later years. Do not let a temporary side effect confused with just getting old undermine that decades-long effort. A key part of the wisdom we need now is learning how to simplify our home environment to support clarity. If you struggle with focus, do you have too much visual clutter? Clutter creates noise in the brain. A calm home is a clear mind. Look at your countertop tonight. Is it a staging area for chaos or for peace? The more you simplify your surroundings, the less work your foggy mind has to do. This small habit increases your physical and financial safety margin significantly. We have now covered the 3 critical side effects that threaten your license and your independence: dizziness, balance, vision changes, and cognitive sluggishness. But identifying the problem is only half the battle. The other half is ensuring the doctor actually listens and takes your concerns seriously. Many seniors find their worries are dismissed as normal aging. In the final part of our discussion, we will cover the 5 critical sentences you must never, ever say in the exam room, and the specific conversation plan that guarantees you walk out with a better understanding and an actionable path toward protecting your independence. This communication strategy is the ultimate weapon of wise aging. We have discussed dizziness and balance, which steal your footing, and blurred vision, which steals your road safety. But there is a 3rd critical side effect, the most dangerous of all, because it steals your self-trust. This is the subtle slowdown of the mind. The dependency it causes is insidious. You stop trusting your memory, your judgment, and your ability to safely manage your own life and finances. This side effect is often dismissed as just getting older memory, but when it is medication related, it is a direct and serious threat to living alone. We call it cognitive impairment, or simply brain fog. Think about your daily routine. Have you found yourself holding the house key, standing at the door, and taking 5 extra seconds to remember if you're locking up or opening up? Have you stood in the kitchen looking into the pantry, momentarily forgetting what simple meal you planned to make just moments before? If these moments are new, or suddenly happening much more frequently since starting a new prescription, that is the alarm bell ringing. This is not benign forgetfulness. This can seriously compromise your ability to handle banking, manage utility bills, or even correctly organize your other medications. Your memory and clarity are the essential firewall protecting your financial independence and your home safety. If you're experiencing brain fog, you must ask your doctor this precise, simple question. Is this prescription making my thinking cloudy? Now let's combine all 3 potential side effects, the dizziness, the visual changes, and the brain fog, and put them to the ultimate test, the independence review. Your ability to drive is often the last, most tangible symbol of your absolute freedom. If you surrender your keys unnecessarily, you often surrender the ability to make spontaneous choices and run your life completely on your terms. If you're taking any medication that affects your blood pressure, your sleep, or your anxiety levels, you must perform this critical self-check every time. Before you start the car, are you confident you can judge the speed of the car approaching from the left? Are your eyes adjusting quickly enough when you exit a dark tunnel into bright sunlight? Are you certain you remember the turn you need to take 3 miles down the road? If the answer to any of those questions is an automatic, immediate no, or even a doubtful maybe, you have a profound responsibility to yourself and to others to pause. This is not a failure. This is proactive wisdom. It is far wiser to call a neighbor or a taxi for an urgent appointment than to risk the emotional, financial, and physical devastation of an accident caused by avoidable side effects. Protecting your driving ability means communicating clearly with your doctor, maybe even suggesting a lower dose or a different drug before the chart. A small side effect becomes a large, permanent dependency. Remember the ultimate goal of this entire conversation: managing the side effects so you never lose the ability to care for yourself and your home with dignity. So what exactly should you bring to your next doctor's appointment? First, bring the complete list of all prescriptions, including every single over-the-counter vitamin, supplement, or herbal tea you rely on. Do not hide anything. Second, bring your journal detailing the symptoms. Be specific and factual. Instead of saying, "I feel dizzy," say, "I felt a swaying sensation when I stood up from the couch around 4 p.m. on 2 different days this past week." Third, clearly state your intent. Use this exact language. "Doctor, I want to manage my health aggressively so I can maintain my driver's license and live independently in my home for as long as possible. Are these medications supporting that long-term goal or potentially threatening it?" This clear, respectful approach reframes the issue from a simple complaint about the medicine to a strong partnership about maintaining your independence. Most doctors will respect and respond positively to this high level of honesty and purpose. We have spent time today focusing on the immediate health threats that mimic aging, the silent thieves of independence. By identifying these 3 dependency-causing side effects, we can protect our ability to drive, manage our homes, and keep our minds sharp. But independence is not only about physical and cognitive health. It is deeply connected to financial security. Many of the medications we discussed and the conditions they treat also have a hidden financial impact. In our next essential piece of advice, we will look at the compounding costs that creep up when you're protecting your health and the one crucial insurance check you must make this year to ensure medical expenses don't steal your peace of mind or deplete your retirement savings. It is the wisdom that protects the purse after the pill has protected the body. Stay with me.